It's time now for Media Watch. James Creedon's here with us in the studio. Good to see you, James, as always.
Good evening, Laura.
We're going to start with a video that has gone viral. This is a French politician. He's a local mayor. He's also an MP. He's called Patrick Balkany. And he's not too fond of journalists, is he?
Definitely not at the moment, because they're poking around at information that isn't very flattering. Now, he's a former protégé of Nicolas Sarkozy, the mayor of Levallois in the Paris suburbs, and BFM television journalists went to quiz him about an investigation into whether or not he was using a town hall chauffeur for his own purposes, right, for personal ends. Bearing in mind that he once had to pay a fine of about €500,000 euros for using 3 local government employees as personal staff. Now, basically what he did is he confiscated the camera from the journalist. Let's take a listen.
Ça tourne, je vais lui enlever.
Finalement, 5 minutes plus
So
tard,
he was
c'est
trying
Isabelle
to
Balkany.
pull the tape out of the camera, but obviously cameras don't work that way anymore.
Lots of files saying Sarkozy, didn't
Right,
he?
and that's his wife Isabelle, who had to do a big apologising mission to BFM journalists afterwards, realising that they now had the footage of him trying to pull the tape out of the camera and being very angry in a back office of his constituency in Levallois.
Brilliant.
So it's all very embarrassing. He's known as being a bit of a hothead anyway, so this clearly only adds to that image. And the thing is, he has a number of corruption investigations around him at the moment, and a 15-month suspended sentence he got for using state employees as his personal butlers and chauffeurs.
So it was a
back in
legitimate question
1996.
anyway.
Well, the thing is, he did that in the mid-90s, and now the question is he go back to
Is
the
he
same
doing
old
it again?
tactics of using,
Well, he's managed to
civil
draw.
servants?
He's managed to draw everyone's attention to it. I'm sure they weren't looking before. Now they certainly are, aren't they? It kind
That's
of
right.
reminds me of when the BBC journalist took on UKIP's Godfrey Bloom. Did you see that one?
I didn't
and
see
he
that
started
one.
bashing him around the head with the brochure.
Oh
That's
gosh!
quite
Just
similar.
and for also, how long has it been since he's operated a camera? If he thinks it's tape that you can pull
I
out,
know,
well,
long
you
time.
can use pull out a card, I suppose. Now, just quickly on social media, people have been reacting to that. Also wondering what those files with
that's what I
Sarkozy were
want
doing
to
in the
know.
background. You see, he is famously associated with Nicolas Sarkozy, which isn't very
He was
flattering for
Sarkozy's
the former
mentor,
president.
I
That's
believe.
right. He was his
Right.
mentor, and because he's had so many corruption cases, it's obviously not very flattering for Nicolas Sarkozy's image. Nicolas Sarkozy, who himself has had to avoid some.
You better translate this for us.
That's right. He basically Balkany, Copé, who is the current leader of the UMP party, Sarkozy, Guénaud, Hortefeux.
Other
Basically,
ministers.
this tweet is comparing them to Ocean's 11 with smelly breath. In other words, it doesn't look good for Sarkozy when his entourage
Not looking
is
good at all.
Is so in what would you say, legal entanglements.
Okay, all right. Now, talking about bad PR, Sochi Olympic Games kick off in just 2 days, and Vladimir Putin's there. Much fanfare. This is his pet project. He spent more than $50 billion on these games. Most
That's right.
expensive sports event in history. It's going to be huge. But there have been gay rights protests all around the world today. People saying, look, Olympic sponsors, you have to pressure Russia over these new laws.
That's right. Journalists and activists are doing their best to embarrass Russia, essentially, for this event. And just some of the elements that I found online that illustrate that. BuzzFeed has... they're showing a video that I think it's Human Rights Watch put online on the 3rd of February. It's had about 1 million clicks since then. Let's take a quick look at that video if I can get it up, because what you have is
for a fake date,
scenes
and
where
they
people are being
proceed to
humiliated
berate them for
and
their
treated
homosexuality
terribly in Russia, and often with
to
complete
abuse
impunity,
women's
right? So that video's had, as you can see, about 1 million clicks in
film all
about
this
3
person-
days. There's also a video that's been put up online in Stockholm, where about 2,000 people gathered in a stadium, the former Olympic stadium actually, in Stockholm, singing the Russian national anthem, all in the name of gay rights. That has had, I think, is it over 400,000 hits on YouTube in about 2 days?
Somebody's pointed out that the official Olympic uniforms look, ironically, a bit like the flag, the rainbow
Right,
flag.
right. They definitely wouldn't like that. Now, meanwhile, journalists have been tweeting all sorts of embarrassing images from
Yes, our
the
correspondent was
hotels.
telling us about this. People have been checking into a room and there's 5 guys already there trying to put the curtains up.
That's right, and it seems like there's been a lot of last-minute sort of running to meet the deadlines. There you can see water that's filthy in the hotels.
Ew.
So a bid, I suppose, to kind of embarrass Russia while Russia wants this to be a sort of a showcase.
You've got 10 seconds to tell me about a Paris jewel thief that was betrayed by a kiss.
Right. Basically, he tied up a lady in a bid, this is going back to last April, in a bid to get the details of her code out of her so he could break into her jewellery store. But it appears he planted a kiss on her cheek in a bid to calm her at some point during the ordeal. Then promptly went and robbed her store. And the authorities have since been able to identify him or track him because of the
Excellent.
kiss he placed on her cheek.
Happy ending.
Which
I'm
is
not sure a kiss from a bank robber would calm you down, would it? I think it would have
Well,
the opposite
it did
effect.
feed into all sorts of stereotypes. Could only be more French if baguettes were added, says this one Twitter user. The most French story of all time.
James, thank you very much indeed. We have to leave it there. James Queenan with Media Watch.
Thanks, Laura.
Now, moving on, it's time for our